You got numbness, tingling all down your arms, your legs, then you want to do the basketball bounce, right? So this is the basketball bounce, right? So what this is, there's different martial arts clans in China, and one of the clans was called Kunlun Pai, which is the Kunlun clan. And so what they did was they developed this exercise to exercise the whole nervous system in your whole body, the nervous system in your whole body, right? So basically it's like bouncing a basketball, okay? You bounce a basketball, with the palm, right? Little with the fingers, but mostly with the palm. So you're just going to bounce the basketball, bounce the basketball. You do it slow motion, bounce the basketball. So you're going to start noticing, okay? You're going to start noticing one hand bounces the basketball better than the other one, right? So that tells you that there is a disharmony, or there's a miscommunication between your brain and one part of your nervous system. And so a lot of times we'll say, like for my left hand, it's not as smooth as my right hand, right? If you go from the side view, it looks like this. You're bouncing the basketball, right? This is the bounce. This is the Kunlun clan basketball bounce secret martial arts technique, all right? You're going to notice, one hand is bouncing less. So that could mean that this side of your body has poor communication with your brain, which means you got to do this. Just do this for 3 minutes. It's actually pretty hard. 3 minutes, you want to bounce the basketball, right? Bounce the basketball. Now it's not rotating it like this. It's bouncing up and down. It's not bouncing with your fingers, okay? It's bouncing with your palm. So when you're bouncing with your palm, it looks like this, right? You start noticing, oh man, my arm's getting sore, everything getting sore. That's good. That's exercising. This is a simple exercise to rejuvenate your nervous system. Rejuvenate your nervous system for your whole body, right? Okay? Do this and let me know how it works. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page where we will be putting on more of these instructional at-home videos to help you improve your health.
I basically came here because I developed peripheral neuropathy in my hands and feet, and I think that was due to radiation therapy, status post-cancer. Well, the pain, it was tingling and shooting pain, and couldn't walk very far, and I enjoy walking, so it impacted my life and the fact that I couldn't even walk around the block. And that's been improved quite a bit. I walk, I'm up to about 3 miles a day. I pretty much do everything I want to do. I'm not restricted in any way. I clean my own house, I go shopping, I pretty much do everything, gardening. So I'm not restricted. I do things a little slower, and I'm not out in the heat because I can't tolerate the heat, but I think I'm doing as much as I can. Well, because my pain is very infrequent. I get occasional tingling, or every so often a sharp jab in my toe or in my foot. And then it goes away, and I know what it is, and I don't freak out about it, but I learned to work with it. I think with what I have, this neuropathy, you can't stay on your feet for long periods of time. So I tried to gauge that. Like, to stand all day would not work for me anymore. I know that. So I tend to pattern my activities around that. I do things, but then I rest. So I think that's a big key with what I have in my feet. Well, I knew it existed, but I never thought I would use it. But when I realized that Eastern medicine has a lot of potential and can help people in many different ways, I thought I'd give it a try. I wasn't referred, I made the decision on my own. I probably should have considered acupuncture even before the peripheral neuropathy. I think you can help in a lot of different ways. Like, I believe I have a little osteoarthritis like everybody else. It's nothing severe, but there's other diagnoses that you can treat. And I'm also being treated for a problem I had, because I think I strained a muscle, which was affecting my sciatic nerve, and with the manual therapy I received, I think that's helped a lot. Well, you take the time to ask questions. We fill out a form every time we come, reflect how we're really feeling at the moment. So then I believe you can tailor your treatment to whatever's going on at the time. Awesome. Like in my case, if I'm having a lot more tingling in my feet, he can adapt the therapy for that particular need. So I think you're adaptable in that respect. Whereas in regular medicine, usually you're given a pill. If it works, fine. If it don't, then you gotta move on to get another pill or another treatment. So here you're a little flexible in how you treat the patient. I believe you can recommend anything to people, but they have to believe it themselves. So you need to explain to them what it really is, and then they have to make their own decision after, like informed consent. But I think for any kind of situation, you should give it a try when it's due to medical symptoms.
Today we're going to talk about neuropathy, and actually a patient that just came in who had a question about natural sugar and neuropathy, because he just went through chemotherapy. He has chemotherapy-induced neuropathy, and during chemotherapy he was losing weight, lost a lot of weight. He went to the nutritionist, and the nutritionist told him something that was very interesting, because during, we know that sugar feeds cancer cells, but the nutritionist told this patient in order to gain weight, he should be eating sugar. He needs sugar, right? And so what did this patient do? He started eating cake. He started eating ice cream. He started eating donuts. He just started eating a lot of sugar to try to gain weight. But here's the thing. Here's my opinion about that. It's the wrong thing to do. You don't gain weight the unhealthy way by eating sugar. You want to eat the right foods, the right nutrition. But the chemotherapy killed his nerves. He has neuropathy, and then he started eating sugar, more sugar. His neuropathy has been gradually getting worse. And so the first thing I told him to do was, you got to stop eating all this processed sugar. Because if you imagine, this is definitely poor drawing, but if you imagine this is an artery, these are capillaries, and this blue is sugar, and so this is your nerves right here. These capillaries are feeding this nerves, and so when you eat tons of sugar, sugar's sticky. It's a sticky little sucker, and it can clump up and it can block off the blood circulation to the nerves. And if it blocks off the blood circulation to the nerves, then the nerves are not going to get fed, and they are going to continue to die. They're not going to regenerate. And peripheral neuropathy, or chemotherapy-induced neuropathy, the nerve damage in the hands and feet, they can regenerate. But if you keep blocking the nutrition source, the food source, of course it's not going to regenerate. So that's the number one thing I told this patient to do, is get off the cake. This is cake. Okay? Get off of the cake, and this is a donut. Get off the donuts, because if you don't, then it doesn't matter what we do with acupuncture, Chinese herbs, and nutrition and diet, you're not going to restore your nerve function, right? And so he's got numbness. He failed the balance test, the neuro test that we did. And so that was one of the key things that I'm surprised this misinformation is being dispensed out there. You should not be eating sugar. You should, even if it's natural sugar. Natural sugar like honey, agave nectar, you still need to decrease these, even fruits, right? You want to decrease the sugar intake because they clog up your arteries, which clog up the nutrition source to your nerves, which is going to prevent your nerves from regenerating. Your nerves need to be in the right environment, the right food source for it to grow. It needs oxygen, number one. By blocking up the blood vessels, this stops oxygen from being delivered to the nerves, and therefore that's the reason why this patient's, his feet, his numbness have been getting worse, and it's gradually going up his ankles. And if he doesn't, thankfully he's here, but if he didn't stop with all the sugar intake, it would gradually get worse. And so stop the donuts, stop the sugar, decrease even natural sugars if you have neuropathy, and if you want the chance of your nerves to actually regenerate, because they can, all right? But you got to provide the right environment. So I wanted to get this quick tidbit on people who are suffering with neuropathy. A lot of cancer going on, a lot of chemotherapy going on. Chemotherapy can induce neuropathy, so if you do have it, make sure you get off the sweets, get off the natural sugars, decrease the natural sugars. You do need sugar, but your food, the food that you eat breaks down to sugar, right? So you don't need excess sugar to gain weight. You need nutrition to gain weight, right? The right way. So people with neuropathy, this is what we do at Achieve Integrative Health. We practice the Emperor's Medicine, which is the restorative medicine. We focus on restoring function, not replacing function. So that's what restorative medicine is about. Share this post, like this post, send this to someone who has neuropathy and may not know what to do with their diet and nutrition. They need to get off, as much sugar, definitely processed sugar, but as much of the natural sugars, you want to decrease those also. You still want to eat fruits though, okay? You want to eat the whole fruit, don't get juice, right? So these are things that's super important when it comes to nerve regeneration.